Okay, so we're going to do the dot string shapes for the 12 keys, and we're going to move through fairly quickly, looking at the key of C. Okay, remembering that we have a keyboard here, and in the key of C is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We have 4 dots that also land on those scale tones on the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th of the key of C. Now remember, each of those dots in the key of C up here they are, each of those dots can be a string pattern shape that you can do a cage shape build. Once you have a cage shape build, such as between the with the A dot, A being the 6th of C. C is easy, remember? So let's talk about C. It's easy. It's got 4 dots. So you got your choice of 4 shapes. The C shape, the A shape, the G shape, or the E shape. Even the D shape you can do. I started adding in, and this is with total versatility now. Why can you do the D shape? Because I decided that it didn't have to start with the first inner note. We can use an inner note or an outer note. Okay, and we'll get to that when we get to one of the root dots. And I'll show you how the outer note can be used, and also the middle note, which is often just a half a step away anyway. So we're going to look at the same shape being used for that, or one of 2 shapes, because the G shape 6, 7 root and the E shape 7 root 2. These are caged neighbors. Okay, G-E-D, caged, C-A-G-E-D. Look at how easy that is. Every one of the dots is a caged letter in C. Isn't that wonderful? So let's move on to something that isn't so wonderful. The key of D flat. Now I'm not going to jump around, like try to do a circle of fifths here. Sorry about this resizing exercise that I'm doing. Boy, that makes me tired. The only dot that falls on a D flat scale, hopefully we still have the keyboard in the buffer. Let's look at a D flat scale, okay? Okay, D flat, E flat, F sharp, or this should be a G flat. Look at Andy making a mistake. This is wrong. This is wrong. I can't believe I did this. This is not a D flat. This is a G flat there. That is nasty. I'm sorry I did that to y'all. But and hey, here's another D flat. Well, that is. I'll fix it. All right. We have our G flat right there. Sorry about that. That was just an Andy no-brainer. So the key of B flat, D flat, we're going up from C. Okay. So we've got D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. Well, guess what? The only dot that the key of D flat or C sharp, if you want to call it the key of C sharp, the only flat that the only dot that falls on is the root dot there. Okay, so we've got the key of D flat there, and we're going to zoom in on that. There it is. There's the D flat C sharp. We should call it C sharp because the dot is on the C sharp. But the dot is also on the D flat. We call it C sharp because in the caged keys we all have only sharps. So the root is on the dot there. So in the key of D flat we have the root on the dot there. How do we play it? We can play it in 2 ways. We can play it in the E shape or in the G shape. Now we're looking at total versatility. That means no matter what note in the 3-note string pattern it is, we want to be able to play from that note. So choosing the C sharp. Now I'm just using the C sharp on this grid here with where my dots are, but this C sharp is actually going to come out a B flat on if you had a frequency meter, but try to ignore that part of the lesson because I can't tune this up. It just won't stay in tune. So the C sharp dot would be the root. Now that root, so you're going to do either an E shape, 7 root 2. If you want to do an E shape there, it would be, your pentatonic would be, okay, or you do 7 root 2. Okay, so if you're looking at patterns, that would be, the 7 root 2 would be the E pattern, and then you go into an S2L, which would be a C pattern, 3. The E pattern goes to the C pattern, 3, 4, 5, and then C goes to the G pattern, 6, 7 root. Okay, but the C pattern going to that G pattern there doesn't sound right. Okay, let's look at that. 6, 7 root. Oh yes, it is, because see, there's your D flat, 6, 7 root. Okay, so that's your G pattern. G pattern going, the 5th of G is D. So we're going to go to a 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to warp up from a D pattern. The 5th of D is the A pattern. We're going to warp up to the 5, 6. Okay, and then we'll go back to regular tuning from the A pattern. 5th of A is the E pattern again. There's our E-shaped C sharp D flat. Additionally, because remember we're working with only one dot now. Additionally, from that one dot, if that's root, we want to be versatile. We can look at the outer note. We can look at that C sharp as the outer note of the G. That's a little G there. We can look at that C sharp as the outer note of the G pattern. Okay, so the 6th of C sharp going down there where this 6 is. Now this is just a pattern, but here it is the A sharp or the B flat. That has nothing to do with this guitar being down tuned, being a flat instrument. So we start on the C sharp there as the root, and we can play the G pattern there. We start with that G pattern, 6, 7 root. Okay, then we can do the string circle in fifths, right? 6, 7 root, and then G pattern goes to D. So that'd be 2, 3, 4. D pattern goes to G. D pattern goes to A, 5, 6. A pattern goes to the E pattern, 7 root 2. 7 root 2 on that E pattern. We're going to warp that E pattern up to the C pattern. Remember, we have the augmented 5th. Augmented 5th of E is the C pattern. C pattern going to the G pattern, 6, 7 root. One thing I want to mention, digressing, when you're going down, and I'm going to use the C, the key of C for this. So for the key of C in the G pattern, here's your C. Alright, this is pretty much the same thing what we were doing with the D flat. When you're going down and you go down in fourths, it's best to count down backwards. So instead of 6, 7 root, when we got to that bottom string, we'd be counting root 7, 6. It works a whole lot easier, and I'll show you why when we get to the next segment. So we go up in string pattern fifths, but down in string pattern fourths with a diminished